guys, I'm Aussie Villain, and welcome to the weekend preview. Now, it seems like a long time ago that we had one of these. Of course, the international break meant we took a couple of weeks off. I should just quickly say, if you are new to the channel, you're not sure what this is. Basically, we have a predictor league for all the villains on the channel here. If you want to join it, there's a link in the description. It's never too late, so please do look to join that. And then we have a fantasy league as well for Patreons. Link to the Patreon in the description. Any level of Patreon can join that. So again, don't be afraid if you would like to join. Now, last week, or the last week before the international break, Gaz Monster absolutely cleaning up two results, two close results and one exact result for a total of 12. He was the Golden Hat winner last time out, just half a point ahead of Alan Riley, Ruja San, and Kev Rob 9. Easy for you to say. I always struggle with that one. I don't know why. And even Luke Stevens there within a correct result of the top. Parramatta Power had a slightly off week perhaps for them. And then you can see going all the way down to Pompey Canuck, who really did have a week to forget last time out. And if we have a quick look at the leaderboard, we'll see Parramatta Power still top, 4.5 points ahead of Kebrov, who continues to close down what looked a unsurmountable gap, didn't it, earlier on in the season. Rujistan is there as well. Everybody's really closing up at the top. I would say all the way down to the Real Villain. It's still in with a really good chance. Still a long way to go, of course, in the season as well. Then you come back to myself and the rest of us, who we will politely call strugglers. But you can see even our strugglers can have a good week, as Gaz Monster showed last time out there. So let's have a look at what we have coming up this weekend and see what we can do. So we want to go to round 13, unlucky for some, and see what we have here. West Ham versus Jose Mourinho's Tottenham, which just doesn't sound right to say, does it? We all know it's going to happen, don't we? They're going to stink it out, and or are they going to run right? And they're going to stink it out, and they're going to win it late on 1-0. No, you know what? Jose teams tend to start really strong, don't they? I'm going to go 3-0. And West Ham's struggling as well. I think they could be the next club looking for a manager, to be honest. Bournemouth at home to Wolverhampton. I think Bournemouth is a decent side. I really think Wolves are a good team. I'm going to say they win this one 2-0. Yeah. Arsenal versus Southampton, two more struggling teams. I thought Southampton would be doing a lot better than they are this season. International break, you can sometimes get some strange results on the back of these. I think last time I predicted Arsenal losing to Sheffield United. I'm not going to make such bold predictions here. I'm going to say maybe 2-1. Let's say Arsenal comes back and sort of got away from things for a little bit, and they're in a much better form. Brighton versus Leicester. I really rate Leicester. I say it every week, don't I? I'm going to say they get the job done there, 2-0. Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Now, Liverpool, top of the league, going to Selhurst Park. This doesn't sound familiar. It's, of course, much earlier on in the season this time around, isn't it? I'm going to say probably, we're probably looking at 2-0 again there, perhaps. I think Liverpool will just have enough to get past them. Everton versus Norwich, who are in desperate need of a win. I mean, Everton themselves are not without need of a win, but they're not in as desperate a situation as Norwich here, are they? I'm going to say, I think Norwich could get a goal here. Let's say 2-1. Timo Pukki on a high after Finland qualify for the Euros, of course. Watford versus Burnley. This has 0-0 written all over it, doesn't it? Let's be honest. So we'll go with that. Manchester City versus Chelsea. Now, I'm not sure what the injuries are like for Manchester City with their defence and with Edison. Look at that recent form for Chelsea, though. I wouldn't... Would an upset for Chelsea be a ridiculous thing to predict here? Let's say 1-1. Let's hope Tammy Abraham gets a goal, because as we'll see in a second, he's in my fantasy team. Sheffield United versus Manchester United. Sheffield United are, I think, the only game they've lost at home, I heard earlier this week, is that game they lost, and only just, and I think it was a bit controversial, to Liverpool. I'm going to say 1-0. I think Sheffield United could do it. I hope they do, actually. I'm really developing a soft spot for Sheffield United. And then the big one, the one we're all looking forward to, some of us anyway. It's Aston Villa, my boys, hosting Newcastle. The return of the Bruce, of course, to Villa Park. I hope he gets a decent reception. He went through a lot the year he got us to that playoff final, even though we did lose it. Yes, it wasn't the best football, but he's left now, and we're in a better place for it. I'm going to say I want to say Villa wins. I don't want to be too ambitious here, but I'm gonna say 7-0. No, I'm gonna say maybe 3-1. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, but if I predict this winning, we're going to lose, though, aren't we? Am I better off just taking the hit? Let's say 2-1. Yeah, let's say 2-1. There we go. So there's my picks, guys. Don't forget to submit yours. There's still a few people here that haven't done them, so if you are one of them, please make sure you're doing that. Now let's have a look at the fantasy team. I have made some changes to the fantasy team. With the injury to Edison and, let's face it, Manchester City's defence not being the best right now with defensive injuries as well, I've brought in Schmeichel for him. I've also managed to squeeze Vardy in. I've got rid of the Callum Wilson, I think I had. Or was it Joshua King? I think it was Callum Wilson. So we've brought Vardy in as well. So I'm loving my team right now. I really, really am. So we're going to stick Schmeichel in goal for Debut. We're going to go with our other Leicester defender with Alexander-Arnold and Tarkowski as the rest of the back four. We're going to go with We're going to take Redmond out, I think. We'll go with Lundstrom. He just keeps surprising, doesn't he? So we're going to go with Lundstrom as the back four. So then it'll be Salah, assuming he plays, with Sterling and McGinn in midfield. It'll be Vardy, Wood, and Abraham, as I said, up top, and then you can see we've got the bench there as well. So that's my fantasy team for this week. Let's have a quick look at how the Villains League table looks. I haven't actually checked this for a little while. Last week, a lot of teams had decent weeks last week. It is still Volt GFC, what's that, 60 odd points ahead of us, 70 odd points ahead of us. It's a really, really tight battle for second between myself and the Cobra Chickens. With Jokers FC a little ways back, and then an average squad, last but not least there with Aaron Kuhlman. And as I say, if you do want to join the Fantasy League, if you already have a fantasy team in this sort of the official league, if that makes sense, you will carry your points over into the competition here, and there is of course prizes for winners as well. So please do, if you want to support the channel more than you already do, just by watching. Link to the Patreon, and just I'll send you the invite once that's happened. So there we go, short and sweet as ever. Don't forget to submit your picks, and the big question is, could we possibly see a different leader at the top of this Predictor League next week? It's only 4.5 points. It's surmountable. It's doable for Kebrov. Come on, mate. Let's have a change at the top of the league. But equally, Parramatta Power, go on, son. I don't really have a preference who wins this, but Parramatta Power's been in front the whole way, and it's exciting to think that we could maybe have a change at the top next week. Until then, guys, I've been Aussie Villain. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your weekend. Take care.